Hello, everyone, and welcome to League Review. I'm your host, William, and with me today I have Ryan
Hello.
and Brian.
Hello.
And today we get to use the new format, with actual people talking. So it might be a little more interesting than yesterday's podcast with the LCK. But let's start with a recap. Crazy week again. We suck at predictions, apparently.
I don't think it's us. I think it's just who knows who's gonna win any game.
That is very true. That's classic. It's classic NA. I this was the weekend where my hope in NA kind of crumbled a little bit. Like before, it was like, yeah, we got C9, we got TSM on the rise, we got Dignitas, we got Team Liquid, we got FlyQuest. Now I'm like, we got C9. We got TSM.
Maybe TSM.
And the rest. Like, But yeah, I went in the first 5 games. I went 2-3. Brian, you also went 2-3. My gut was like perfect. TSM and Mad Lions for the predictions this week. And then you had the Immortals over 100 Thieves, which is where you stole a game as well. And then we all got Cloud9, right? Day 2. We did, or day 2 as in day 2 and 3 now. But we did much better with, we all went 3-3, or 3-2. And we all had the same picks though, so there was no like, I won one here, you won one there type situation. It was all just TSM, C9, and Immortals.
Everyone else, you're saying like, oh, our predictions went poorly. I'm like, man, my predictions are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
My record has not been good. Mm-hmm. It's been consistent though.
Yeah, you've been consistent. The totals for the year so far, me and Brian tied this week, which puts me. Ooh, I didn't put week 4 in there. Well, I put week 4 as week 3, so I'll have to go back and check that later. But I went 5-5 this week. Brian went 5-5, and Ryan went 4-6. Oh, it's only been 3 weeks. I'm losing my mind. So yes, I was right. I'm 17-13. Brian is 13-17, and Ryan, you are also 13-17. So
hell yeah!
I still have a 4-point lead, but I haven't looked great.
Cloud9's just been carrying me in my predictions.
Yeah, pretty much. Me too. All right. So let's talk about today's topics. I thought, like you just mentioned Cloud9. The first topic I want to talk about is Cloud9 a top 10 team in the world? Like I saw this pop up on Twitter a little bit. Like, how good is Cloud9 actually? And could you argue them into the top 10 right now?
Considering that China isn't playing, yes.
Sure, yes.
Considering I don't watch any region other than NA and EU, I have no idea.
That's the tough part.
I'm
with
gonna
China
say
not playing.
yes.
I also agree. I have them on the lower half because I believe I have a Snapchat I sent to you guys. I'm gonna pull up because I don't remember the exact. It's kind of hard with China not playing. We're really only going off of 1 week, but at the same time, we're also only going off of 1 week of Korea as well because they started kind of late. But here, let me find this. Oh my god, Ryan.
To be fair though, what we did see in Korea wasn't.
It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best. Yeah. It was pretty sloppy in Korea. Idol also agrees with the yes. Yeah, I think Cloud9 they look very good, which is like very impressive from an NA team. Yeah, I still had, in my opinion, top IG at 1 and 2 and G2 at number 3. And then I had Billy 4, Afrika 5, Gen G 6, Origin 7, RNG 8, C9 9, and Kings on 10. So I've still had quite a few China teams just from their 1 week of performances. We obviously haven't seen them for the last 3 weeks now, so that can be very subject to change. The second they start playing again, they could look awful, or they could look like they've solved the meta again. But I think Cloud9 is pretty strong. Idol said he watches all of the regions except Oceania or some crap like that. Hey, the OPL, it's okay.
Well, OPL is now NA apparently.
Yeah, pretty much, and EU a little bit.
Yeah,
so
Destiny in there.
I guess no argument there. Sorry. We're all in agreement that Cloud9 is actually really good. top 10 team in the world.
Yeah.
Could compete for Worlds.
I think it is still, obviously, we're kind of just taking it day by day with a lot of these teams as well. Yeah. Like I said, small sample size, not just from the other regions, but even just from NA. You're talking about Korean teams that play best of 3 series. Even the Chinese teams, they've had 1 week as well, even though it was a while ago, just like Korea has now.
Mm-hmm.
And they've all played best of 3 series. So we have a lot, even just from the 1 week from those regions, we have a larger sample size than from all of NA and EU.
Kind of, yeah. It's about the same now, I think, because I think if they played 2 games, they would have roughly done 4 to 6, or 2 series, roughly 4 to 6 games, and so it's about the same size.
Yeah. And it is hard to tell again too. Like it could just be like a matter of like Cloud9 may have just got a huge head start because they got the most out of their boot camp in Korea than a lot of teams who may not be coming in with the best amount of practice. So maybe their levels maybe just their floor is a little bit higher than everyone else's coming in. So it's hard to say. We're not even halfway through the split yet. Then we're talking about the quality of the rest of the teams. But I will say I think I'm edging more along the side of I think North America is starting to get better. Like I think TSM has looked a lot better since their week 2. I feel like they're really starting to gel and they're finding themselves a little bit more. Immortals have looked a lot better. I'll say that. Like even if they have like a mess, I think they look compared to like the shit show they were in week 1.
Yeah,
I think they're better than that. And like they played Cloud9 and nearly got perfect game, but that's also Cloud9. They've been playing kind of lights out on everybody. Doesn't matter who they play. I don't think it's going to last for too much longer. But even CLG hasn't. Like even though everyone thought they're just dead in the water, probably go winless the rest of the split. They just look like they're a mess. None of the pieces are working. Everyone's playing at the worst they've ever played. And even this week they actually showed life. They showed like they were willing to fight.
Really cohesive this week.
Yeah,
that loss was depressing because they were poised to win that game.
They were. They absolutely were.
Yeah, it was literally like I know we said it before the cast. I said it like I have it in my notes. It's like the most CLG loss. I literally told Will because I was at work. I just like had to step off for a little bit, and I just checked the phone to see how the games were going that night. And I look at my phone. I was like, oh man, CLG just got a good fight. Room was baiting off to the side. Then he hopped over the wall and 6A like a Chad, flashed in, killed Smithy, and then they went immediately, just went right to Baron. Jungler's dead. They have a health bar advantage. They have the 5-man, no jungler on the enemy team. They get Baron, rush it down, get it. Now they're 3K gold up. They're 1 dragon away from Soul. They got the Baron buff. They're going to have push priority. They have everyone alive. Like, oh man, CLG, they might actually win this game. And I was like, well, man, I don't even care if CLG loses and I go 0-2 on Monday again. Like at this point, I'd love to see him play. I'd love to see it happen because it'd just be nuts. And then, of course, I put my phone down 5 minutes. It's like it feels like 5 minutes later. I look at my phone and they're interviewing Smithy after they won.
Yeah, it's brutal. Like it's definitely tough, and that kind of brings me to ties in a little bit here to my second point. The one win that the next topic I want to talk about is their one win was with Soraka top, and at the time I was like, Soraka top is that good that CLG can even win a game with it. And now that Soraka is getting nerfed in the PvE at least for solo lane with the 60% less damage on the Q, do you think that
is that 60% to everybody or just minions?
To minions, sorry, just to minions. So do you think it's almost like a Pike solo lane treatment where they're trying to keep him fine in the support role, but
it's a pure wave clear nerf, so they can't actually lane on their own.
So do you think that will stop them in lane enough, or will they still try and press forward with that, and will teams this week continue to try and play it, or will they try and kind of like ditch it as it's not gonna be relevant by the next patch?
I personally think that Soraka, while she can stop a lane she won't lose lane necessarily. I think this will hurt her too much. She'll just get shoved in, and even if the person's not killing her, if like her heal on them is fine, her tower is just gonna be taken a lot faster because she's gonna be under tower the entire lane. I mean, I haven't seen the change, so it could not matter that much, but I think it'll dissuade people. I think they'll still play it.
Okay.
And I think they'll lose on it.
you might have like some teams that may still try to pull it off, maybe because they feel like, oh man, they're just going to let us have it this time. Well, let's go ahead and take it. It's kind of like it's the similar reason why I feel like there might be some teams in NA that might still pick Senna ADC after this patch.
I want to. that was my next topic. So
Yeah.
Still picking Senna.
Yeah, but I think I kind of agree. I agree with Brian. I think that the wave clear with that one is kind of the huge deal for that, because then even past the laning phase, once you get into like mid game, you're talking about, okay, well, we have a support and a support, and neither of them can wave clear, and you have 3 lanes, which means unless you're literally throwing your jungler to go catch a side wave or to stay mid and wave clear somehow. And if you're running with something like an Elise, good luck. Which means one of your lanes is going to be perma-pushed. Because Soraka is not going to be able to do that after this patch.
Yeah, I would want to see maybe if a team, maybe like G2, I know this is NA, but since G2 is such a great team and they kind of, at least to me, I don't know if China, I doubt China has been playing. Well, China has been playing. I doubt Korea's been playing it much. Have they?
Senna?
Soraka top.
Soraka? Crap, I don't know off the top of my head. I don't think so, though. I don't think so.
I don't recall it.
I would love to see like a GAM.
They played it once. They did play it once with a Yuumi.
I mean, they also played Rumble support.
It worked, man. They won.
And it worked. Rumble support
with jungle XP not being what it used to be, I'd love to see if maybe a G2 or Cloud9. I don't think Licorice is going to play Soraka, but someone like that where they could have a really aggressive jungler, maybe take the lane and just get extra XP and gold and carry through jungle.
So you're thinking funnel.
Like a semi funnel. It's like
Korea did do this.
They did it a little bit with.
They had the it was the Soraka top with the Olaf jungle and the Yuumi support, and then he was just a monster.
Oh man, that was a war crime, as I talked about yesterday. Like literally, Yuumi jumps on Olaf ults and just runs in to anyone he wants. Yuumi ults them till they're rooted, and then it just keeps healing Olaf, and Soraka just sits behind and heals him as well. Then Yuumi jumps off Olaf to heal Soraka just once, so then she can keep healing Olaf and not lose her own HP. It's gross. Beat T1 with it.
Well. Yeah. I mean, with the way T1 was playing.
That's true.
They also beat Damwon, so who knows?
Okay. Well, I want to rotate that into the next topic of Senna ADC. I want to pull up here, actually, Senna ADC is just not, in my opinion, very good right now for most regions. I used to think, like, coming in, like, watching EU's able to play it correctly, I feel like they are.
And C9 is able to play it correctly.
And C9. But the rest of the league, not so much. Let me see if I can pull this up here. We got LCS, where are you at? LCS Spring 2020. Let's go to Champions. Let's go to Picks. And
can y'all hear my fan?
Just a little,
a little bit.
Okay, I'll turn it off.
All right.
I can kind of hear it, like, giving me feedback. So.
All right. So, Senna is the most picked champion in the LCS at 20 picks. Only 4 bans, 20 picks. She is 6-14. She has a 30% win rate in the LCS.
This is the Echo syndrome.
Like
Echo Jungle,
Ezreal ADC. Remember, didn't we have an Ezreal ADC or an Olaf jungle situation last year? Where we were like 1-11 or something on the champ, and it was constantly picked. But
what was it? Picking Jarvan into Rek'Sai.
Jarvan into Rek'Sai. There's a lot of things that teams.
The classic NA Jace.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that teams really don't like adapt to very quickly. I feel like teams are very stuck in their ways a lot of the time and want to force it. Like, for example, right now, Kane and Dodo, Team Liquid, head coach and assistant coach. What the fuck? Both games. Senna is not a double A champion. It's not. Same with 100 Thieves picking it for Cody-san. It is not a Cody-san champion at all. Like, these. It is very much a Sven champion. Like, Sven, if it's his playstyle. I think if Sneaky was in the lane or league still, it would be a very good Sneaky champion. It's It's a passive ADC that you scale, you farm up, you're supportive more so than you're not the true carry of the team, but you can do a lot to help carry the team. You know, almost like she was designed to be a support. Weird.
I'm gonna actually. I keep saying it. I'm gonna actually start playing Senna support because I'm really excited to. I just want to see how it is.
But only do it if your AD is Lucian.
Well, I'll play it with William.
I
William
don't play
pick up Lucian.
80 carry Thresh.
Ooh. See, now I
80
like
carry
this.
Leona.
Maybe not as much on that one, but for the Team Liquid example, if it wasn't for the nerfs to Senna coming in that are essentially gutting AD Senna, like AD Senna is not going to be a thing by next patch, it's gone. Like for them, I would assume they should be, but we never know.
I think teams will probably still try it because the main hit was to the Soul Generation, which is like mostly to like her. It's a lot of it to her. A lot of it was like to her scaling into the range that she gets like in the mid to late game.
But
she doesn't get it nearly as fast.
I consider that the most important part as an ADC.
Oh yeah, but I know, but it's one of those things where sometimes it's something you don't necessarily notice, and some teams may just like, oh, we're just going to change your build. It might go like rapid fire second or something on her.
Stupid.
To get that range that we're used to. But I think it will fall off. I think a lot of teams are already starting to drift away from it. I mean, we even saw it on Monday where like you had teams who were like, oh, well, you know who's open? Senna. You know who we're not picking? Senna. Let's just pick Miss Fortune.
Yeah, Miss Fortune is so much better than Senna right now, in my opinion.
And Miss Fortune's actually a good matchup into Aphelios.
It's a very good matchup into Aphelios.
Especially put her with either Nautilus or Leona, something that can just go in. You just slow them down, and then they go in, then you can't get away.
Yeah, Brian, how familiar is that one sound?
Yeah, that's literally all we really played.
it works every time. I don't think we lost against an Aphelios with that. But
definitely not.
Like, so that's my issue is like, so Double is not good on the champion. Clearly, it's not his champion. So Team Liquid's like, the issue you could have coming up is, oh, that's a meta pick. We kind of need to learn that pick. It's not going to be meta by next patch. Who cares? You don't need to be able to play it anymore. It's done. Goodbye.
They actually just mentioned that on the dive today. Mark. I was actually watching a little bit earlier. It was Mark Z and Azael were going into it a little bit. They were kind of going in. Apparently, I think they were straight up I think they were straight up reporting TL for that.
Yeah,
doing their little honors and reports because, and they even say that I think Mark said he talked on Hotline League about it, that they were kind of answering questions because I think they said they had Steve on.
I did.
I haven't seen it either, but they mentioned it, so I figured I might as well give it a shout. But because that's where I'm pulling it from. But they mentioned saying like they want to be flexible. They mentioned having issues when you get to higher levels of play about not having that flexibility, having the one style, but then what happens if that doesn't work? Then what do you do?
I absolutely agree with that, but
and then the big caveat was one, Azael straight up said exactly what you said.
She's gone.
I don't understand why you're mentioning this because you can't be doing this as practice for the future. It's not like the TSM thing where we're gonna pick Galio Jarvan in like the meta and we're gonna practice it all through the regular split and because we think it's gonna be good for Worlds and it's still good at Worlds and then we don't pick it, but that's whatever. But this is like we're gonna pick Senna at ADC because it's strong right now, but it's like it doesn't really fit us, but we should probably play it because it's strong. But it's like but it's not gonna be strong. It's not going to be nearly as strong. Yeah. Literally next week.
Yeah, next week. So, like, why? Like, Ashe was open. I think Ashe is a very viable ADC. Oh, yeah. I think Miss Fortune... I don't know if Miss Fortune was open or not on that, personally. I do know Ashe was open for sure, because they hovered it, and I was very excited. And then they took it away.
They hovered it, and then they just picked Senna. I'm like, why? Because and that's the other thing, too. It's kind of going off that is I actually think like something like a Varus or an Ashe would have actually fit a similar role to what Senna is doing, where you can still have the bit of auto attack, like DPS carry potential that they have. Maybe not as much as like something like the Aphelios or Kai'Sa, Xayah, that sort of thing, but just the ability to just give a more comfortable champion something that's not utility based. It's like putting double lift on Jhin.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like a double lift champion. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things where if you put them up in a matchup, like, okay, we're going to be fighting against MF or Aphelios, but we know Senna's not going to be banned, but we want to play a more, quote, utility from the bot lane style. Ashe could do that. Ashe could fulfill a similar role. You could have like that sort of range. You could have the utility, the engage potential from bot side. You slow, like have the AoE slow in team fights with your volley, set up for the engages, set up for chases. Like you could do all of this and still have a champion that fits more to your style. So that is, I feel like that is a failure on coaching, but like, and I know we're not going to get into match history, but that's far from the only thing. The Senna pick was far from the only thing wrong with that game from Double Lift.
yeah. I just think it was, like you said with Ashe. I just think that, to me, I'm actually, this is going to sound really weird. I'm super excited, Broxah. I've been waiting for Broxah this whole time. I'm almost just as excited that Senna ADC is getting nerfed as much as Broxah. I think that is just as big of an impact for Team Liquid to win games as Broxah coming in now. Like, it's crazy how bad they've just played around it too. It's been terrible. Yeah. Idol did mention that he had a serious question. Do you all think teams throw games in NA? Because I'm starting to wonder why the pick 4 times in a row.
What? Well, he's having fun.
I know, it's a fun pick. He loves it.
Yeah,
needs to practice it in solo queue a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, it's. I don't. Yeah, I don't. I didn't. I'd love to see when they do like the squad episode, like maybe the behind the scenes and maybe their reasoning behind it. But I don't see any reasoning personally. With that, I want to bring up one of our final points, or maybe we have another one after this. Is to me, let's go back here. We don't need to go champions. Let's go to teams. Dignitas is who I want to talk about. Has the Fountain of Youth dried up there at Dignitas?
I have big opinions on Dig.
Okay.
And I've said it for a while.
Mm-hmm. Big opinions.
Wait. Before you do that, is this Brian's fault, actually? Because he helped from CLG to Dignitas, and now they're collapsing.
No, it's Aframu's fault, because he is the embodiment of CLG.
He has that latent counter logic energy.
Yeah, but he was successful on CLG, so I don't know how much to say it. Well,
hey
okay.
man, he was kind of successful on 100 Thieves at first. He was
MVP.
He was MVP.
Yeah.
First NA support.
I work with a guy who's his doppelganger. I still need to ask him. I still need to sneak in. Like, you know about League of Legends? AKA, is this your brother? I don't think they have the same last name, so probably not. But yeah, anyway. But I think Rig maybe needs to, I hate saying needs to be subbed out for Arcadian, but I think Froggen has played well. I think Johnson has played well. I think you're paying Huni way too much to sub him out for Lorlo.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think Grig is a great LCS jungler. With Huni in your team, with Froggen, I feel like it makes sense, but it's just not really working. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think Grig.
My big concern is Grig.
Okay.
I can kind of agree with that. I mean, I feel like there were a lot of team-wide mistakes for them. I mean, Dig this weekend, aside from the week prior where they lost to FlyQuest, and that was just kind of a stomp, but everyone just kind of got their ass beat by FlyQuest that game. But you had, this week they played TSM and C9, who everyone is saying is kind of like, okay, here's C9, they're the best. And then here's TSM. They found themselves these past 2 weeks. They're looking like the number 2. They're like the one team left that can challenge C9 in the first half. So that's not, and in the TSM game, they could have easily won.
Mm-hmm.
That game was winnable. Despite things, it wasn't a crush like the C9 game.
That is true.
Where they found grit, where Nisky hit a sleepy trouble bubble and then flashed in. Blabber hit him with a Q and they just killed him at first blood and then proceeded to just run the map all over the place.
But I'm just saying, I know, William, I'll let you talk. I know you're the host, but I'm just saying, while Lee Sin, I watched the LEC pick nerf ban today. They're all saying nerf Lee Sin. I want Acadian to be playing Lee Sin while he's strong. I don't think Grig is the type of player to pick a power pick like that.
Mm-mm. Why not? Maybe like the Trundle got buffed, and I faced Trundle, and solo queue, and he's kind of scary, honestly. Like that is a Grig style pick. Maybe it's because no one's really picking tanks. I'm so sad. This is supposed to be the tank meta, and I'm not necessarily seeing nearly as many tanks except Ornn. Ornn's
It's the
obviously
Soraka meta. Ornn needs to
And
be nerfed.
Cho'Gath.
Cho'Gath shows up a little bit. Cho'Gath is always that underlying tank right under Ornn, and I love it. But like Ornn is just busted. Ornn is by far the most busted tank.
If
Just
they
a-
made Cho'Gath's Q a point and click, then he would be as good as Ornn.
Or just don't even make it a point and click. Just make it so it doesn't take 2 seconds to come out of the ground.
Well, then it's not dodgeable.
Yeah.
Pretty big.
That's called legit no counterplay.
Yeah.
Man, I hate it. People sometimes just walk right after.
Will just wants them to re-click. Wants to make freaking Cho'Gath easier so he
Yeah.
doesn't have to get better.
Okay, guys, didn't realize it was Flame William part of the podcast.
Well, you said you have a headache and can't defend yourself, so you gotta lay it on.
I do right now.
I like how the dig section kind of turned from it's about dig to it's about Grig.
A little bit, but I did want the point I was going to make is that you were saying that their losses are to Cloud9, TSM, and FlyQuest, which is true, but their wins are against CLG, Evil Geniuses, who at the time we had high hopes for Evil Geniuses, and those have plummeted. CLG is CLG, and Team Liquid, who were right now not looking nearly as hot as we expected. I'll still give them credit on Team Liquid. That game was very good. That was a very good game. But the Evil Geniuses and CLG, they're looking like way worse teams than I think we initially thought.
Yeah, but I mean, at least when they're playing a team like Evil Geniuses, they smashed them.
That is true.
They smashed Evil Geniuses, and then it's the same thing where you had FlyQuest who beat Dignitas, who smashed Dignitas, also got smashed by Evil Geniuses.
It's NA
it's
is a mess, man.
Yeah, I know, the rock paper scissors. It's coming in.
We
it's coming to
we
fruition.
literally had that on our thumbnail last week. I love it.
Yeah. I will petition to change the title of this topic to "Is Grig the NA Gilius?" and is Acadian Kikis.
That's actually really funny. Like, legitimately, you can make that point. That's hilarious.
I actually did. I was going to plan on making a caveat to some of my predictions, like not to spoil anything, but basically saying that I might switch over to Dignitas if they decide to sub in Acadian, because he has been smurfing in Academy.
That is true. Dignitas.
But then again, he's also been smurfing with Demonte. Him and Demonte have been looking really good in Academy.
Mhm.
Demonte just looks bored. He's styling on kids.
It makes me like.
No, I feel so bad for him. He deserves better than that.
Yeah, it's still there are so many teams.
I can't believe he's not a starter somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see,
He's
Crown,
killing it.
Jensen, Golden Glue, even over Golden Glue maybe, or.
Yeah. To be fair, Golden Glue actually has been playing pretty well. His scoreline wouldn't say it, but he's actually been pretty clutch for GG at some of these games.
Not Monday night, but Monday night was.
Hey man, he was holding against Jensen. He was doing all right.
And then the rest of the team was doing good. I don't know
To be
about
fair, it
that.
was also Jensen's Rumble, so
Okay, it wasn't a good rumble, to be honest. The whole thing was a mess. But anyway,
but yeah,
did
I
you
will
guys
say
have
I will
anyone-
kind of get. Oh, I was just gonna give my quick little thoughts on Dignitas. Like aside from just that win, I think that they, like I said, they get through their hardest schedule this past weekend. Didn't go as probably exactly the way they wanted to.
Not at all.
Well, I mean, they probably didn't go into it the way it wanted to either, getting smacked by Fly. But I feel like they have the potential to come back. I think they have a really good depth in their roster, so they can come back if they really, really need to. If they really need to swap it up, because I wouldn't be surprised if they pull something like, oh, here's like Froggen is going solo and flashing over walls to use all his entire combo just to kill Sven, just to ruin his KDA, and then typing in all chat, get carried. So like they might. It's one of the things where if he's tilted in not the best way, like guess what? Oh, we have Acadian and Demonte on standby. They've been smashing kids. They have synergy. Let's see how they do. Demonte and Hooney have synergy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they haven't played together.
That is true.
So
I think it's fair to take Froggen out.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. That's what I said. If it kind of becomes a trend where Froggen is kind of like, well, I'm just going to stay in lane and just farm it out, and then go off on solo missions to do this and blow my entire load and end up ruining my team's entire team fight potential just to kill one person, and then my entire team dies because of it. I feel like if that becomes a recurring trend and he kind of keeps dipping like he has been since week one, I think it's possible you swap them in just because of the mid jungle synergy from Acadia and Damonte playing together.
Possible. That is a possibility. All right.
I think it's a possibility, but I think it's one of the things where Dig are probably not the top 2, top 3 team that they seem to be coming into the split. I feel like it's another C9 situation where where they just their floor was higher
after week 1.
Well, that's what I mean.
Like 8th coming in.
That's what I mean. Like coming into the split and the way they performed in week 1.
Gotcha.
Like, it might have just came to the point of, well, their floor was a lot higher than we thought it was, and now it's kind of like, well, the ceiling is maybe not there.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So
okay, I get you. All right, I think with that though, we can talk about just the standings. Update on the standings. We have 6-0 for Cloud9, 4-2 for TSM, 4-2 for Immortals, 3-3 for 100 Thieves, 3-3 for FlyQuest, 3-3 for Dignitas, 2-4 for EG, 2-4 for Team Liquid, 2-4 for Golden Guardians, and 1-5 for CLG.
Okay, I have something. William, since you previously said like, I don't remember what week. I guess it has to be this one. You said without Broxah, you could see TL being 2-4.
Yes.
I heard we talked about that off podcast. I don't have receipts. Besides the Team Liquid being 2-4, what is the most surprising thing in the standings right now?
Oh, easily Immortals 4-2 for me.
Yeah.
Easily.
That's the glaring wow.
like I said, I had CLG lower than most people. I have FlyQuest about like that. 100 Thieves I thought would do a little bit better than they have. Evil Genius is a little bit better, but they're all like little bits, you know? Immortals is glaring. If you flop Immortals in Team Liquid, that I wouldn't have been as surprised, but...
Yeah. Flop Immortals and EG or 100 Thieves, put EG or 100 Thieves 3-4 at 4-2 or 3-3.
Yep.
And Immortals at 2-4, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, it would make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that the biggest and most obvious discrepancy is that number 10 spot. I don't think any of us expected that CLG would be this bad.
I
will
agree with
definitely
that.
not.
But I think I expected them to be closer to this bad than as well as Immortals has done. Again, I feel like Immortals is so questionable. I'm still so confused by this team. Like I think I sent a screenshot to Ryan. Like, from someone on Reddit said, Immortals is the worst 4-2 team of all time. And
but they are 4-2.
I kind of agree with that.
But they are 4-2.
They are 4-2. But,
I think
it's not great.
I think CLG, after last week, is a really good 1-5 team. And that sounds crazy, because, I mean, they're 1-5.
Mm-hmm.
But they could easily be 2-4, tied with Liquid, tied with...
Evil Geniuses.
They would have, tied with EG, Golden Guardians, everybody.
Yeah. Okay. They're definitely not out of the playoff hunt yet.
Yeah, which is crazy.
It was looking like it after the first 2 weeks.
I would definitely say I am surprised by CLG being 1-5. I would have probably, realistically, I know I picked them like 4-0 in the first 2 weeks and went 0-4. But
classic Brian.
I would realistically expect them to be 3-3. I'm fine with going like 2-2 on the picks and that, but you know what?
Mm-hmm.
This team, I can't let them go. I don't know why.
You're in an abusive relationship.
They gave me hope this week.
Oh my god!
They almost gave you two. They almost like literally repaid you entirely for your lack of faith.
2-4, I'm back in. I said 2-0 week.
Yeah.
I'll pick it again.
And they were literally one botched push and a backdoor away from
not even a
doing
botched
it.
push. Their 80 carry just was like, nah, not gonna fight. It was a TG. Like, who can predict that?
Altek's like, I'm going in. Apparently, I think they said in like I don't know if it was a post game or something like that. They said that Soaz was literally him and Ica were literally planning on the back door for like 10 minutes. And they're just like, oh, now it's not. And then there's like, no, Altek, just go and push. We're going to go stop backs.
Well, it. I mean, it makes sense now that you say that because
no, it doesn't. It don't count this team as 4-2.
Well, it does. Yeah, that makes no sense. I mean, I'm talking about specifically the CLG backdoor. They're losing that game, or they backdoor them.
Yeah. That's
oh
true.
yeah.
That's true.
I actually like literally just going into my notes, just go off that one game, and it's something I brought up last week in my notes, and just kind of just also just randomly throughout the split so far. Last note for all the games: green team, no brand identity, slightly questionable roster of established names. Some suspect wins, and now actually backdooring to get them. IMT is just the new 2018 Summer FlyQuest.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, so let's talk about our power rankings then. Let's go into that with our bottom 5. Me and Brian are pretty similar. Ryan is off the walls.
Here we go.
Oh, I don't hate that. I don't hate it.
He's insane. He's got.
Oh no, yeah. Oh, okay. I see now. But I was looking more at the bottom two.
You were excited because CLG's not 10. I'm not even gonna lie. I was upset because I was thinking to myself, I'm glad CLG's at the bottom, so I don't have to do any work. I don't have to change them week after week. And then Ryan goes over here and puts him 9th. I get it. I get that they beat Evil Geniuses.
I will say right now. And just going into, I mentioned it before cast and just kind of putting it on here. My entire ranking system for power rankings, like a madman, I went to every team except for one. Spoiler alert for who my number 1 team is. I've done the unthinkable, Will. I finally did it. I gave in. I gave in, and now watch me literally curse them, and they go 0-2 this week. Versus TSM and Sven Skaren, it'd be kind of sadly fitting.
That would be funny.
Yeah, versus Sven's old team and versus the guy who used to be on their team. Yikes.
Their MVP.
Yeah. Well, I literally went I went through every team in the standings, and I marked down, okay, who do they beat? All right, who do they lose to? And I assigned points.
I'm just imagining Charlie from It's Always Sunny.
It's
with
literally
the board now.
This has been me. This entire split is literally trying to power rank these teams when they keep beating each other, and it's like, they have a convincing. Oh, it's a good win against Team Liquid. Then they get smashed by FlyQuest. Well, I don't know where to put Dig now, but I literally gave basically I gave you a point for a good win. If it was a stomp, I gave you 2. I gave you half a point if you basically just got handed a throw. That was for CLG, by the way. Yeah. The same thing for losses. If it was a bad loss, you get 2 points off. It was just a whatever loss. If it was like, if you threw, I didn't chalk you down too much. If you lost to a really shit team, then you get extra points off, etc. Kind of went through that, and then I didn't take off any points for anyone who lost to C9 because that would not be fair.
Yeah. Because
literally only 3 teams haven't played C9 yet, and all of C9's games haven't been close.
Yeah, not a single one yet.
Yeah, I'm just gonna preface, my top 5 is not genuine. I don't think TL is 8th.
Yeah.
I think they're probably.
I think right now they're 8th. I don't see them ever staying 8th, but based on the math, the math that I
just
did,
double 4th.
It's double 4th. But even with Broxah coming in and Senna being nerfed, no.
I'm saying coming out of week 3.
Coming out, okay.
Out of week 3, this is where they stand. Because I have no idea what this team is going to look like with Broxah. Losing to Golden Guardians has made me question everything.
Well, I am fist pumping right now because this is a power rankings, William. Yes. And I betrayed myself. I put them 3rd because it's a power rankings for week 3 going into week 4, and right now they are not a strong team.
But going into week 4, they will be stronger.
Okay, so you're a big Lion. Oh, I guess there's not really a transfer window, and you're a Tiger fan. Okay,
God.
All your pitchers leave your team, but you're 20-0. I don't know. Are you still gonna put them as the best team in the league? No. It's just in reverse in this thing. But
it's like the opposite.
Yeah. It's like you got all the good pitchers and you're still losing.
But no, this is if I feel like that makes my point. If my team was like 1-5 or 1-10 to start the year, and we got our ace back, or like an ace back in the lineup, and I don't know how
to say it, Verlander.
Yeah, we get Verlander, and then let's say, I don't know, we lose. So I can't think of a bad player off the top of my head right now, but like someone gets kicked off the team, also known as Senna, gets just booted right off the team. I would feel much better about this team.
And Senna was a really bad influence on one of your good players.
Exactly. Probably one of your best players. Yeah, exactly. Bad clubhouse dynamic.
We kicked Johnny Manziel out of the baseball.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what the baseball analog of that is, but yes, let's go with that. But here's the thing. Here's my math. I'll throw my math out for you. TL has 2 wins. TSM. All right, they beat TSM. It was a decent win. They got a point because it was TSM were leading the game, but TL pulled it back, won the game. Good win. Like it was a close match. Whatever. FlyQuest. Oh, good. They stomped the hell out of them. 2 points. Good job. Then they lost. 100 Thieves. You got stomped. Golden Guardians. You lost to Golden Guardians.
That's bad.
you got 2v2'd killed by Keith McFucking Brief.
Keith, it's God, okay?
You know,
eyes on Keith.
Yes, the TL, it's not, the meta's not good for them because it's not about laning. Literally gets killed in the 2v2 by Keith McBrief in his 6th game as a support. In his 2nd professional game as a Thresh. Get out of here.
It's pretty clean.
Hey, how many players can say that they first blooded double lift in lane?
And then double lift almost got freaking flame horizoned by FBI and solo killed in lane.
Oh, it was terrible.
This is so much
come
fun.
on now, that's not Senna things. And then they were talking about Galio support coming back.
No,
come on,
I didn't like that picking.
I can kind of understand the press art to summon Exodia comp here, because and then you have Jarvan, Galio, whatever. Ooh, that's nice, fancy. You could have picked Alistair. You could have picked Braum. Senna would have been fine.
A lot better. Than
like you would hell, you could have picked if you wanted to be really spicy.
I don't even like Senna. I just hate them both probably.
Yeah, if you want to pick be spicy or practice something different, pick Lulu or Zyra. Be fancy. I don't even know what the matchup is, but you know what? You can press R and do an AoE team fight. Hell, Annie support. Let's bring it back. Season 3.
Hell no.
Flash freaking W to kill everybody. But no. So no, you get that 2 points off of that. And then the Dig game was whatever. Dig was winning. Then they started losing. Then they came back and won. So whatever. So guess what? You got overall your point total was -2. Yeah, you're only 1 ahead of Evil Geniuses in Counter Logic Gaming. Spoilers. And CLG they win above Evil Geniuses because they beat Evil Geniuses. That was their win.
You know what, Ryan? I like your power rankings.
I know.
Yeah, like
I like them too.
Idol just said Double Lift was instantly put on tilt. Yeah, I absolutely do not know what Kane.
Why was he put on tilt? Say it, William.
Because of Senna initially, and then he got Keith got first blood.
Yes.
Oh man, that's amazing. It's amazing.
FBI open bot.
Hey man, Team Liquid just struggles with Golden Guardians. Okay, we've known this.
There's no excuse, man. There's no excuse. No excuse at all.
Golden Guardians is Team Liquid's bitter rival.
I literally timestamped this, by the way, in this game specifically. Wait, no, hold on. Let me pull up my notes. Let me make sure I'm talking about the correct game, because I want to make sure that I'm not giving like inaccurate results. No, this was for the 100 Thieves game. So this also can kind of go against them for this. I'll hold it against them. Allow me to, because I timestamped it. It was around 5:30 into the game versus 100 Thieves. Jensen nearly solo killed Ryoma. Syndra into Orianna. Good. Forced him out of lane. Forces his back. Then all of a sudden, Core and Fire are going to go try to establish vision in the bot river. Here comes Meteos and Stunt. They're coming over to contest. They start a skirmish. Stixay is already there. He was already roaming up. He does not. He was already. No, sorry, not Stixay. Cody.
Where Stixay just showed up.
What game are we talking about? Anyway.
I was literally looking at my notes. I don't know how I saw Stixay's name, but he was there.
Gotcha.
But no.
He's everywhere.
Yeah, he was going over. So Cody's coming to join up as Aphelios. He's joining. Okay, it's a 3v2. Double Lift is literally just sitting in lane, doing nothing. He's not pushing the wave. He's just sitting there in the middle lane. Doesn't even move towards river. Jensen, at half health with no flash and no ultimate, is starting to come down the river. But they just go in, they force out the kills. Jensen just goes back to lane and farms. Double Lift's just sort of just sitting there. He still hasn't moved, still hasn't pushed, still hasn't done anything.
It's terrible.
And then they literally just roam down. Meteos moves, starts to take the Drake. Then they force out Double Lift's flash under turret. So literally, because he literally did not do anything. Didn't he? It looks like he didn't even tell his own team
That he was doing
that Cody was missing. Cody was not at the wave. It's not like he was literally landing against nobody. So he knows the AD isn't there.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, man.
so then you lost. So even though Jensen nearly solo kills his mid lane opponent and forces a good back onto him and his team and his jungle and support. So core is there. It's not like this is a Surenfire thing. They're there establishing vision for the Drake. But because he doesn't go up to join, like a support Senna or like any, player who plays the game to play with his team, he not only they lost 2 kills, mid just burn flash essentially for nothing now. They lose Drake, then Double Lift has to burn his flash. They lose the priority on the bot. They lose turret plates, and they end up getting beat to the Rift Herald, and the game just proceeds to snowball out of control.
Yes.
People see Sunday quadra kill at the end, solo killing Impact, and being a monster that game. But this was literally from the very beginning. You're talking about 5 minutes. And this is after a good play from Jensen. And the only game this game lasted as long as it did is because Jensen stole the Baron as a Syndra.
Yeah, that was so good. I will say that Sunday did super pop off that game as well. Impact had a bad gameplay game, which is very rare. But my reasoning here is I'm almost looking at this from a TSM perspective. I think we all, including myself, really overreacted to TSM going 0-2. I think that's fair to say now. And I'm saying Team Liquid, again, has not lost a game when Senna has not been the ADC. They have won those games pretty handily. Well, I guess not the TSM one, but the FlyQuest one for sure. And the TSM one.
Man.
But like, now that Senna's not going to be the ADC, bring Broxah back in. I just think... I just think
the team that lost to Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, I still have a lot of high hopes on
IMT.
FlyQuest. As you can see, I still have them in the top 5. I still believe in FlyQuest more than most teams.
FlyQuest beat Immortals.
Yeah, they did.
That was like
No, they
Immortals'
didn't.
first. Immortals' first game is when Xmethy played Trundle Jungle. It was like Lucian mid Trundle Jungle. It was weird. It was a bad game. I think it was the first game for Immortals.
Yeah.
Oh, they lost to TO C9. Okay.
I mean, I literally have a note.
They lost
Remember,
to
dude, I wrote down every team that
Yeah.
all these teams played.
Man, Evil Genius is a coin flip though, man.
Yeah, and sometimes when it lands on tails, it's so bad it can't even beat CLG. And sometimes it's so good it smashes the hell out of FlyQuest.
Yep. All right, so that pretty much. Is there anything else? Like, I think that pretty much discussed most of our bottom 5, I should say.
I mean, my freaking predictions will show that I fully expect that Team Liquid will bounce back, even if it is. I said even if it is just a honeymoon period for Team Liquid with Broxah coming in, I think that this team will probably have a huge level up, just from the fact that I feel like everyone on the team might secretly be toxic towards Surenfire, and they just kind of gave up on themselves, which is a stupidly bad attitude if that's the case.
Terrible attitude.
But I think right now, based on this week 3 performance, and after literally giving the benefit of the doubt, this is literally what I said, was that I would drop them if their core 4 continued to underperform. They didn't do it in week 2. They definitely did it in week 3. And it pissed me off enough where they deserve to be here.
You dropped them 7 spots. It's a lot. But
Yeah.
I think
Well,
that,
hey, no, the math dropped them 7 spots. But I will say right now, looking at the overall results, they deserve to be here. And guess who's above them? Golden Guardians, the team that beat them.
I absolutely... Well, I don't agree with that. But I agree with...
I mean, it's true, man. They beat them.
That's true.
They straight up beat them. They clowned them.
It happened, but again...
In what way do you ever get a 2v2 lane with FBI and Keith McBrieve? Beat Double Lift and Core JJ.
Hey, Matt and Deft and Matt beat Core JJ and Team Liquid.
Hey, man. Well, I mean, they're overpowered, man. That's just NA Deft and Mata.
Yeah. Team Liquid was the bane of their existence for a long time there.
Both playing for them and against them.
Yeah. Exactly. I think that my reasoning here, let's go to the top 5, is that if I had to pick a team to win the split, Team Liquid's still in my top 3 teams to win the split. Personally. I think that Ryan's moved.
Hey man, it's the math. I'll explain my math when we get to it. I mean, we could go from bottom to top.
Yeah, well,
Ryan revealing his political affiliations with the Yang Gang, all about that math.
Yang dropped out a few hours ago, so sorry about
that.
Rip. William, wake up! Shut up, Idol. I took a 3-hour nap today. I'm tired. Oh man. Let's see. We have. No freaking way is Broxah Jesus. Oh, well, that's why I got him third. Brian also got him third.
Like, no, I don't like my third.
Brian's got him third. Too. They're permanent. I'm not moving them. I have Immortals slot number 5. I want to believe. I love Immortals. I love the brand. I love everything about it. I just like. I don't. Someone's has been actually like really good, not stat wise, but like shot calling wise. I think Xfinity as well. Like they're that like team in professional sports that like that veteran presence gets them a few wins that they shouldn't get. But
hey man, they got the veteran presence. It's got the wins.
They do. We've never had this.
It's better than some of these other teams.
It's true. I don't love Ryan's. Okay, we'll see after this week. I think there's a lot of overreaction on Ryan's. I think the math has overreacted.
Nah, dude, it's math. Like I was legitimately surprised. Like, oh man, freaking IMT, it's number 1 on my list, but it's probably gonna be like 4th or something. Mm-hmm. They came back. Their point total for me with their score was 1.5. I'm like, oh, that's probably gonna be bad. They were tied with TSM.
So 1.5 is second, but Team Liquid's terrible at -2. That's only a 3-point difference.
They have 4 losses. And IMT has 4 wins.
And that's only a 3-point difference.
And here's the thing, I was actually rough on IMT. I gave the one quality win over 100 Thieves. It was like the one game that was actually decent from them. But then I gave them half a point for beating CLG because of the way that game went. I almost would have given them 0 to be fair, because it was literally. But I was like, I'm gonna be fair. They did win. It was a throw almost entirely. The Golden Guardians win, which was entirely because Golden Guardians decided to pick a LeBlanc split push and nothing else, and they basically handed. And then Keith was hyper griefing. So they got half a point.
Keith was just charging his limit to unleash it.
Yeah. So. Yeah. He's baiting you all into thinking he's a tank support player, and he's actually a Thresh Smurf.
He's a playmaker, baby.
He's the second coming of Mad Life. But then you have the TSM win, which is a Hyper Fiesta. They also got half a point. Here's the big kicker: is that one of their losses was to Cloud9, and I didn't count it.
That is true. So they almost have 0 negative points.
Yeah, they would have had. I think if it had been true, it was a hard stop. They would have gotten -2 from Cloud9. But then again, a lot of teams would have, and that includes Team Liquid, which means they would have actually been below CLG because CLG hasn't played Cloud9 yet. And that's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So without any negative points, their positive wins have only added up to 1.5.
Yeah, exactly. Because then they got -1 because they lost to FlyQuest because of the Trundle jungle before it got buffed. And then Nick Smithy went 0-7. It was their first game of the split. They got -1 because you deserved that loss. It was a bad loss. Yeah. But then TSM on the other hand, they had a winning at CLG, which is half a point because it's CLG, and that was when they were hyper struggling. So whatever. I hope you get that win. You get -2 if you lost that. Then you had Dignitas. That was for TSM. That was a good win. Evil Geniuses, a good win. Golden Guardians. I'm not sure about that one, but okay. So I gave them half a point because Golden Guardians looked like they were dead in the water. But then I gave them I only took off for TSM. I only took off half a point because that game was a fiesta, and I refused to reward or deduct too much for that loss to any team, because that game was a disaster, and I hated it. And then I gave them -1 because it was a bad loss to Team Liquid.
Yeah.
So they also came up to 1.5. And guess who wins the tiebreaker? The team that beat the other team.
Yeah, I get it.
There you go.
I get it.
And that's the thing.
It
TSM
does check out.
and TSM shoots up to this list because guess what? They play Cloud9.
Yeah, they do.
In Immortals, guess who they play next week?
Team Liquid.
First game.
First game. We'll know right away. Well, that's what I did want to talk about Team Liquid in that sense of this whole power rankings is literally just turned into Team Liquid in Immortals. But
they're the biggest
narratives
right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think most of them we were very similar on the rest of them. But Team Liquid is going to. If they would have beat Golden Guardians, I think I told you before the game, Brian. I believe it was Mark Z or Prawley gave Team Liquid 3 weeks with Broxah, like pre-game, like 3 weeks to get adjusted with Broxah. I said 2 weeks. I'm pretty much down to 1 week. I will take a close loss to Immortals. It cannot be a blowout. It has to be a close loss to Immortals. And then who the heck are they playing game number 3? I'm totally
100 Thieves.
100 Thieves. No, they already played 100 Thieves.
No, they already played 100 Thieves.
CLG. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
They
That's
need
right.
to
They
blow
got
out CLG. They need to
got
blow out
easy
CLG. Yeah, because
I hope they lose to CLG so bad now.
Listen, Team Liquid has had the hardest schedule of any team, by the way, so far.
Team Liquid cannot have the hardest schedule because they are supposed to be the team that makes the hard schedule.
I agree with that. I will. That's 100% true.
That's like saying Alabama has a really hard schedule because they play good teams, but they are normally the team to beat. Not as much anymore.
I forgot to mention out that Idol's mention of Team Liquid should get -6 for giving Keith first blood is that should be an outlier.
I mean,
He's a player. I don't understand.
I was gonna go off the wall because otherwise I would have been like, oh, CLG, man, you had all these losses, but no one believed in you anyway, so I'm not gonna give you any points off. I'm only gonna give you positives for winning. And if that were the case, CLG would have been #1 because they would have had 2 points for beating Evil Geniuses. Because they had 0 wins and they beat a team that had infinitely more wins than them. And on paper,
math checks out.
Yeah.
Oh man! But
we all agreed that if the coin flip landed on tails, EG should still win. And
we did.
So guess what? CLG, you get 2 points for beating expectations.
They did it because of Soraka. Soraka carried.
Nah, dude. If you watch that game, freaking Stixay and Smoothie carried that game. Those guys were smurfing. They were hard smashing. It was probably the best game I've seen of Stixay in freaking months.
That is true.
Mostly because I haven't seen Stixay in months. Well, that means he hasn't been good all split.
All right, I think we also have Cloud9 #1. I think that's very easy.
I know.
With that,
unanimous, yeah.
Unanimous.
It took too much for me, man. I really almost didn't want to put him at #1 because I don't like to, because I feel like I'm just a massive jinx. It's like me picking EG over anything. In any EG game, I'm automatically cursed to get the opposite result. I cannot predict that team to save my life, which means they're probably going to win. They're probably just going to beat Cloud9, but then lose everything else.
Evil Genius is so hard to predict.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. I was like, oh man, I'm going to put TL at #1 and keep them at #1.
Nah, I've dropped that weeks ago. like Cloud9 looked way too good.
Nah, man. When I drop someone, I drop them. They go down.
Apparently.
No mercy. Hey man, I've been holding them at #1 longer than everyone. They've been at #1 for freaking going to preseasons. They've been on for 3 weeks. They've been #1. They need to be here.
All right.
Get it together. Work your way back up.
I'm really expecting them to get it together, but I'm hoping
TSM did the work, and here they are.
Yeah, exactly. I think we'll see something very similar to Team Liquid here. All right. Bold Player of the Week, the big award. I need to rename the scene.
Bold Player.
The scene is the Bold and Brash Player, which was our first idea, and then it turned into the big award.
Oh, good. It's C9 Cloud9.
Yeah, it's not C9 Cloud9 like I've done like 3 times in a row. It's C9 Blabber.
The Player of the Week trophy.
Yeah. KDA. Did Blabber get Player of the Week?
Yep.
God damn it. I didn't want because I was doing podcasts. I didn't get that far, so I didn't see that. And now this is the 3rd week in a row that we exact same player the freaking week.
You're just good at predicting it.
Apparently.
You're good at retroactively predicting.
Yeah. This time like the other two, I knew Frogin and Sven won it. This time I didn't even know, and I still ended up picking the same one. KDA 13.5, kill participation 77.9, damage percent only 16.2%, which is little, but it's a jungler, so that makes sense.
It's jungle, not that important overall.
DPM 3.
And he played Lee Sin.
And
He doesn't
he
do
was
some
making
amount of
points.
damage.
He was making.
It's not like he's out here playing freaking Kindred and carrying.
Yeah, that's true. So Blabber played phenomenal this week, especially against FlyQuest and Dignitas. They had the hardest week this week, so he just destroyed people.
He's playing a role that's permanently at least 2 levels down, so I mean, cut him some slack for damage.
That is true.
Someone posted that where like his KDA was like freaking, it was like insane, but then he was only like level 12.
Yeah,
like the solo laners were level 17.
Yeah, it's insane the gap.
And Grig was only level 11, even though he was getting smashed.
Well, speaking of this, Brian will like this as well. The Boomer Award went to Grig this week.
Yay!
I will say I really like Grig's beard. By the way, when I downloaded, I have like a million pictures of these League players. I really like the beard. But the KDA was only a 0.4 this week, which is
doesn't fit his face to me.
Never good. Never. You are correct on that. It looks like a dwarf beard a little bit, and I kind of like that.
It looks like Bjergsen's beard a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, I can see that. Kill participation of 60.1%. I don't know why these are off balance. They weren't earlier, so I don't know what happened there, but we'll deal with it.
Your icons weren't straight either, but I didn't say anything till now.
They weren't perfectly in line.
Shut up. So 10 points. I did this in less than 30 minutes today. That was very difficult. But that was my own fault for sleeping for 3 hours. Anyway, DPM of 170.8. Grig did not look good this week. Like we talked about, we talked about that earlier. Grig struggled a lot, especially against Blabber. Blabber just simply outplayed him.
God, Jesus. Well, first of all, I'm giving him I feel kind of bad for Grig. He did have to play against freaking Dardoch and Blabber this week.
That is true. But wasn't he
Jungle Monsters?
Wasn't he our player of the watch or something like that? Or we mentioned he might have been player of the watch. I don't remember. Because he had such a difficult challenge, and it was not. Yeah. He did not succeed. We'll just say.
Yeah. But I mean, to be fair, the rest of his team didn't really do much of succeeding. Elsewise, freaking Haunter was getting giga smashed in top lane against Broken Blade.
Well, that is very true.
But I will say this. First of all, just a quick comment on the C9 game. God, that play on Rift Herald from Blabber was so amazing. the super counter into Rek'Sai. I was like, oh that's right, Rek'Sai. I heard you talking shit, like you counter me or something. Literally Q's Rek'Sai, flash kicks Rek'Sai, then hits the Q2 to execute him. Ward hops back to Rift Herald and steals it with a spike.
So gross.
Like it was actually disgusting. And that was the one death that Blabber had that whole game. Because he died at the end of the play because they just poured everything else on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was actually insane. But the other thing is, I would like to recommend something, and I know it's probably a huge sacrilege to say, but I would honestly say there's one person that deserves the Boomer Award more than Grig this week.
Are you thinking Double Lift?
Yes.
I thought about it. The stats weren't as bad, but yeah, it was up there.
I mean, here's the thing. Not just based on expectation, but expectation based on who he was facing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Think about it. He fought FBI and Cody Sun, the two 80 carries that he's historically giga smashed.
I would say, whoa, but yes, he's historically smashed Cody's Sun, but Cody's damn good.
No, but Cody Sun has never found a way in, and he was like he was useless. Like Double Lift may have not existed in this game.
Yeah,
because he did next to nothing other than throw like a Senate ult like twice.
That is true. I literally thought about it for quite a bit. I initially went in going to put Double Lift, and then I saw the stats. I'm like, ooh, I remember Grig had a really bad week. And then I went over to Grig. Yeah. But he was definitely up there. He was definitely up there in the nominations.
It's like based on expectations, like based on like overall performance and numbers or whatever. Numbers just tell part of the story.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, you can have good numbers, but you can still have done nothing for your team. And guess who did nothing for their team in a team game?
Double Lift.
Yep.
All right.
and he needs to be better.
Oh, absolutely. I fully agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to our predictions for this week. Our first game up this week is Team Liquid versus Immortals. We kind of teased it a little bit earlier, obviously as a homer apparently, I could see them losing this game more so because I was until they ended up losing the freaking Golden Guardians. I was like, okay, that's totally fine. Like you can take a week with Broxah. It's gonna be some like growing pains here, obviously, because they haven't really practiced too much with him, and like so it's gonna take some time. But now I almost don't want to give him time. I'm like, no, like, like I need to see results right away now. I'm very disappointed with how, even though it went 2-4, like kind of like how I expected, it didn't go how I expected. If that makes any sense. Back me up here. Nope, no backup. Cool.
No, I mean, you're pretty much right.
Thank you. Yeah. Like I expected him to be bad without Broxah, but it wasn't all on Surenfire type situation. So like, it was on sloppy play.
I literally closed all of my notes on every TL game this week with clearly Surenfire was the problem.
I think right now my most personal problem with the team is the coaching staff. Like, what are you doing?
I think it's double lift.
Everything is the problem. I mean, even Core JJ, who's supposed to be who's supposed to be fucking Giga Smurf. He's supposed to be like super top tier. No one else can touch him. Supporting the league.
Yeah.
Where is he? Is he still like over in Europe at the World Championship?
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen him yet. He's been like, I don't know. Maybe I think he might have showed up for the FlyQuest game, but I think he went back home.
Yeah, it's been a very weird split. Like Jensen's popped off pretty much every game.
Yeah.
Like
Jensen, I feel like he's been hard carrying. He's been trying.
Hard carrying this team.
He's been trying. It feels like he's like maybe him and I think Core sometimes, Impact sometimes.
No, I never considered
Surenfire. I think Surenfire is like. Oh, I think Surenfire is trying. I think Surenfire is also under pressure because he doesn't want to fuck up.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if Impact necessarily trying. Impact really takes splits off until playoffs. I feel like then he awakens. True. He just awakens in the playoffs. He's like, oh, you thought your top laner was the best? Nope.
He just wakes up. He's like, I heard y'all talking shit.
Yeah, pretty much. Like
he's like Keith. Awoke from his slumber inside Tom Kench's stomach. He emerged as a beautiful butterfly and threshold your 80 carry.
Ryan, you did have Team Liquid beating Immortals. So.
I do. I think that
whole thing.
But this one was so hard, and I seriously wanted to call this as an upset one because I think that it's very, very possible for Immortals to win this game.
It is absolutely,
especially if you're talking about Broxah. Like I think they mentioned that Broxah is expected to only have his visa on like Wednesday, and he leaves like immediately as soon as he gets it.
Yeah, like 3 days of practice.
Then you're talking about like if he's there like let's say maybe a day. Like he shows up, like he's there like half the day. He spends it. He sleeps, and he's hopefully not jet lagged to shit. He spends maybe 2 days of practice.
Yeah, it's gonna
be that might be rough. And we saw what Immortals looked like with like 2 days of practice in week 1. You had a 0-7 Xmithy. If we have a 0-7 Broxah, I think Team Liquid is definitely doomed. But I think.
This is like my last give game. You know what I mean? Like this is it. Like if they lose, okay. After that, I don't want to see any more losses unless it's like to a Cloud9 or TSM at this point.
Yeah, I think it's entirely. The thing is with Cloud9, it's like they're the last team that TL actually faces.
Yeah, so at that point they should be well prepared.
Yeah,
we'll know a lot more.
I think it's one of the things where I think this is Immortals' big chance, especially for Xmithy. I think they could easily come out and play Hungry, and I seriously wanted to pick an upset for this one, but I couldn't help but go with I kind of went with my gut on this one.
Okay.
And I feel like it's one of the things where, as much as I feel like it's possible for Broxah to come in here and be jet lagged and look like Amazing did at the beginning of last year's 100 Thieves, where he played like garbage. It was there, it like got there like that day or something like that, and it was ridiculous. But I think like just as much, I feel like it could easily just give them that honeymoon period for the whole team. I think everyone will probably be much more like alive. Like they'll actually try to put work into playing the game and not just essentially play like a bunch of solo queue players and occasionally meeting up and grouping. I think like that just the change of environment of finally, okay, we finally have our starting roster might be enough to actually bump them out of this funk and give them a win here. But I would not be surprised if Immortals come out and they win this game.
Yeah.
And I think that if Immortals come out and they smash Team Liquid in this game, I may not put too much weight on it, but that's not a good look either.
Oh, it's not a good look. I agree with that.
I think they have to be competitive. Otherwise, I'm gonna be really upset. I will say though, if it does turn out that they're going to start Surefire because something happens with Broxah and he doesn't show up, I reserve the right to switch my pick to Immortals.
You've already used your mulligan.
I know.
Okay.
No, actually, I didn't because remember,
No,
I actually
You
didn't
pulled it
use my
back.
mulligan. Will did
It ended up being the same thing. It was 1-1 either way.
because I did not switch on either game in week 1 with Team Liquid, and it helped me with the C9 game, but not TSM.
Brian, your pick?
Thoughts, Brian?
My thoughts are I am getting serious about trying to catch William in the standings. I really want Immortals to win. Like you were saying, I think this is a game where you saw CLG with Crown in the first week, and I mean it ended up being a lot worse, but he was jet lagged. Brox is gonna have no practice. I'm just reiterating what you said. I picked TL. I knew William would also pick TL. I'm trying to staunch the bleeding. No, I can't in good faith pick IMT over Liquid.
I don't know what it's going to take for Immortals to convince me. I feel like I should be convinced. I'm just watching their games. I'm not convinced yet.
Hey, you know what's going to take to convince us? Beating Team Liquid.
That is true.
If they beat Team Liquid right now, I'm considering it.
Yeah,
because that's another quality win I add to my little.
Another quality win. Yeah, you're right. All right, next game we have C9 versus TSM. Definitely game of the week. There's no question about that.
This and TL versus Immortals are like 2 back-to-back really big important games.
Yeah. Yep.
Not just tough games, but important games. A lot of victory. You have Sven versus TSM, Xmithy versus Team Liquid, Broxah coming in. It's a big deal.
I'm going against my gut. My gut has TSM again. And it was correct last time. But
Are you serious?
I can't pick it. I gotta pick C9. I think they're too dominant right now. In my gut, I'm feeling a loss. I'm feeling like the first loss here. But my brain is just telling. I'm overriding that. I'm overriding my gut this week. I think that my brain is just telling me the C9 is a top 10 team in the world for me right now. They're just pure dominant every which way. Like I don't see them losing. I don't know why I think that. I just don't see this team losing right now. I don't necessarily see an 18-0, but I don't see it losing.
I don't know why you would go against your gut, man. Your gut's undefeated.
I know they are.
Your gut is proven in 2 leagues.
I know. I'm going against.
But then again, my gut's also proven because I didn't believe in Schalke.
That is true.
Misfits hype all the way. Dan is carrying, but this one I actually fully agree with you. I was racking my brain about this literally all night last night. I actually legitimately had TSM as my pick initially. Spoilers, I did eventually decide to go with Cloud9.
Yep.
Because I feel like there is a huge uptick compared to week 1 TSM with current TSM, and I think the scrappiness and the willingness to not just take fights to find initiations, but also finding their play style now where they're trying to enable your top and jungle very aggressive play, and Bjergsen and Kabe can just kind of sit back and support that, and Biofrost too, kind of going along with them, having this like engaged goon squad with these guys. I feel like this is definitely going to be the challenge for them. TSM's found themselves. I think they're going to look really strong, and the more and more time they spend at this, it's going to be better and better for them. And I think if they could keep this up, they're definitely going to be a finals contender. But I think right now, I think that C9 has yet to show anything that would consider mistakes. And obviously, like I said, this could be the game where TSM could force them into a rut early, and now we can see, okay, well, how does C9 look when they don't have an early lead? And the one thing I also mentioned, TSM's drafting this week especially has been super clever. The fact that they were like, oh, we first pick set, and they bait out and I think they baited out a Kennen pick or something like that, and then they swap. There's like, oh, surprise! It's set jungle, and we're gonna put Aurelia top, and never have this. And people say, oh, well, Kenan's not the bet is like a decent matchup in Aurelia, but I think Broken Blade was like, oh, well, I'm good at as Aurelia, and I know this matchup, and they probably weren't expecting this matchup, so let me play this matchup, and he actually had good push. So he had a good push mid. Then it's like, oh, surprise! Now we have pushing lanes in every single lane, and you accidentally picked yourself into a defensive thing. This was in the Dignitas game, so then automatically from draft they put Dignitas into a defensive play, and TSM were the aggressors. They control tempo, they control pace, and while not every play went well, they were the ones in control to make the plays, and I think that was actually a good look. Same thing with the Kiana pick, where they picked Kiana in the right before the second ban phase. Then they picked Gragas, so it's like, oh, it looks like Kiana, like Gragas Kiana. It's like, oh nope, surprise! Here's Ornn. We're gonna put Ornn mid, and now Kiana's gonna be top lane against your Aatrox.
That was impressive. I really did like that switch at the end of it.
Yep. So I think like and then the entire time Kabe, it could like you have Bjergsen who could play this more supportive role or like a long range, almost like a long range like a long range initiator or poke tool. Like he could play like a Syndra who could stun you from forever. He could play like Ornn who can not just frontline but can also engage for the team if he needs to. You have Biofrost, then you have Biofrost who can engage, and Kabe who's like, I'm just gonna sit in the back and DPS the whole time. It's like, there you go. There's your winning formula. You have Broken Blade, you have Dardoch who can make those mechanical plays, those engages, Biofrost who joins in with them, and you have Bjergsen and Kabe who backline. And I think that they could find their identity. I feel like if there's ever a team right now that could actually challenge this Cloud9 team, that could put them on the back foot early, it could possibly either contend with them on a mechanical basis or even just kind of force their hand maybe when they're not entirely ready for it, or force them into a situation that's not ideal.
Yeah,
this is TSM.
It's TSM.
But
I think that's the only.
All that said,
you still.
I think yes. I think Cloud9. I think if there's, like I said, just as much as they've been clever drafting, but I think Cloud9's drafting has been super solid. I think they had a firm hand on it. The only thing that also is kind of getting to me is the patch, because with Senna gone, Aphelios and then Akali getting put in a dumpster with nerfs. That opens up draft space for teams to work around. Oh, well, who's Sven's most picked champion? Oh, it's Aphelios. Oh, well, we could ban that. Oh, it's red side over red side. Oh, we could ban that. We don't need to ban Akali anymore.
Yeah, Akali.
And then if Senna's not there, that's the only other champion he's played.
So yeah, there's a question mark there. You can play Ezreal.
What do we see? Like, we haven't seen a Xayah or a Misfortune. Like, we haven't seen any Ezreal in North America yet. I think we've seen some Dravens internationally, mostly like in Europe. I think we've seen like one Kai'Sa.
Mm-hmm.
At least I have. I've seen like one Kai'Sa. It wasn't too great, but it was all right.
It's been nuts a little bit.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see, like, because I think this is going to be the biggest challenge for C9 right now going into this. I think, well, that, and I think their next game also, but that's also just me. Okay. But I think other than that, I think C9 are also the team that can contend with TSM in draft, in individual play, and in team play, and in their aggressive shot calling. I think TSM adopted the aggression, but C9 were born into it, raised in it, and molded by it.
Yeah.
So
you guys.
I don't think so C9 is for me.
All right, Ryan, what do you got?
I have C9. I mean, TSM lost to EG. I think that their wins. Let's see. Let me go back. Ryan, I know you have it pulled up.
I don't really have it pulled up. I literally have it written down on a piece of paper.
TSM beat EG. Just kidding.
Yeah,
just kidding.
They beat all the.
They lost to Immortals and Team Liquid. Are the two losses?
They lost
to Liquid. That's all you need to know.
They lost to Immortals.
They beat EG. Minutes. They beat CLG. They beat Golden Guardian.
And beat Dig.
On the downswing.
That is a good point. Yeah.
So, sorry, I'm moving my mic away.
To be fair, it wasn't Dig on the downswing. It was Dig after they lost to FlyQuest.
That's a downswing.
Yeah, that's true. It was a close game, to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, Grig. TSM got the secret agents in place. Grig and Hanser.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think Cloud9 looks like more of a cohesive unit right now. I think every one of their positions is strong. Let's let's see. Bjergsen is good. Broken Blade's good. I think Dardoch is fine. I mean, it's hard to say anyone on TSM is bad. No one on TSM is bad. I just think C9's better.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
We can move on to the next game with
Here we
Golden
go.
We can just speed up these ones now because that's a game of the week, so I get that more breakdown. But,
Here we go.
Golden Guardians versus CLG.
The true hype matchup.
Yeah. I got CLG, or I got Golden Guardians. Just kidding.
Who did I pick? I don't even
you
remember.
picked Golden Guardians.
Okay.
Spoiler.
Did we all pick Golden
We
Guardians?
all picked Golden
I thought I was
Guardians.
being hype.
No, we all.
I thought I was riding. Man, y'all shouldn't be allowed to pick. Y'all shouldn't be allowed to pick Golden Guardians. Y'all were hating on my boy Keith.
No, I was not.
Latucan has arrived, Mike sir.
Have you made Keith your eyes on player for a week?
I have not.
I have. No, I really do think that CLG is getting it together and is going to win this game.
Oh.
But
But it won't happen if you pick them.
Okay.
It won't happen. It won't happen if I pick them. Also, I am true to my word. Until CLG goes 2-0, I will not pick them.
Good. I was gonna call you out if you pick CLG here.
No.
I feel like this is actually a pretty tight game, but I feel like it's gonna come. I actually feel like it's gonna come down to jungle difference.
Yeah, and I think Closer is fantastic.
Closer's very good.
I loved him on Royal Youth, and I'm so excited that he's performing well in a major region.
Though I will say before the Team Liquid game, I would have definitely picked CLG here just because of how well 6A and Smoothie were performing, especially this past week. They looked really good, but then you had freaking Keith bust out the big guns. Hooking double lift out of this world and tilting him off the face of the planet.
Yeah, Idol does have CLG though, so there are some believers still out there.
I believe.
Well, now we just got a free win. Thanks, Idol.
Woo! Thanks, Idol.
I just realized we all picked blue side so far. That's not a good sign.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember. My first day is blue side heavy.
Yep. Next game is 100 Thieves
Spoiler.
versus Dignitas. Spoiler alert for me as well. I also have 100 Thieves. Finally, we have a difference in our predictions, though.
Yes.
Because
I need to make up some room or dig my hole deeper. Let's go.
Is that a pun?
Maybe.
You picked Dignitas.
That is literally the embodiment of pun not intended.
Gotcha. I think I'm kind of off the Dig. I was on the Dignitas hype, but I always had FlyQuest a little higher than everyone. I wasn't as sold, I guess, as every other person. So I guess I've fallen a little bit off, a lot more than other people have so far. So I believe in 100 Thieves. As you guys know, I love Cody Sun so much. I think that
I'm talking about momentum in the last few games. I think that 100 Thieves is showing like promise. I think they're moving up, and I think Dig is moving down. I think Ryoma was a question mark. I think he's played very well. I think Cody Sun's really good too. Someday is someday. He has bad games, but he also has pop off MVP carry games.
Someday needs to play on Sandbox. He plays the
Yeah.
style.
I'm just gonna split push and occasionally quadra kill the entire enemy team.
Media's potentially gonna be great. Potentially gonna EQ early, and
who would have thought that we would have freaking 100 Thieves would be more coin flippy than Evil Geniuses?
It's kind of weird, yeah, for sure.
You would think.
Evil Genius is still technically a coin flip if it just constantly lands on tails.
Yeah. At this point, Evil Genius is just coin. You flip the coin and it lands on its side.
Yeah, they're weird.
Like that stupid broom challenge.
I saw that.
All right, the next.
Yeah. I will say my reasoning for Dignitas, aside from I didn't want to do all blue side, even though that's kind of a stupid reason to do it. I think it's actually going to be. I think that Greg probably isn't going to be as abused in this matchup as he was.
Medios is much less aggressive than Blabber and Dardoch.
I mean, the TL game would tell you otherwise with how badly they kind of beat the hell out of Schernfire early on, but I feel like that was more a team failure than anything. I think if anything, Dignitas can actually somewhat play around their jungler, and I think mid difference will actually show up. I think bot's fine. I think Hootie is fine versus Someday. I think that's not going to be a big issue. And I think as a whole, I feel like 100 Thieves can pop off and go nuts and kill them, but they could just as easily fall flat on their face and watch someday get camped and be 0-5 at like 10 minutes. And then they have no way in the game. So I went with Dig because I feel like they're somehow less likely to let that happen.
All right, and that's fair. The next game is Dignitas versus Golden Guardians. For as much as I was hating on Dignitas, I do think they will be able to take down Golden Guardians. My worry here is that Closer is going to pop off against Greg. That is my worry. This game is quite a 50-50. Every NA game feels like a 50-50 freaking game. But outside of that, I think Huni against Haunter. Haunter's actually performed kind of poorly recently, and we've also had issues with we can. Keith and FBI, was this a one-time miracle that happened, or is this improvement?
Saving all their energy for double lifting core and JJ.
Like we'll find out, I guess.
Now they're getting smurfed on by Johnson and Double Lift's old lane partner.
Mm-hmm. What was your pick, Brian? This one?
I had Dig. I think right now, obviously, Golden Guardian's PowerPoint is in their bot lane, their support specifically. He showed himself to be an amazing playmaker. It has a great lane presence.
He was also an ADC turned support.
Exactly.
But you know who else was? Afromoo. He has full experience with that.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I'm
support is so easy, man.
Exactly. I'm distracted by William moving the icons. I was also kind of an ADC turn support. That's why I'm so good. But
Core JJ, man, the NA is just full of them.
Oh yeah. But
and Core JJ was on Dignitas, so
I think
we're coming full circle now.
Jokes aside, Keith showing his playmaking ability. I think Afromoo is known to be the playmaking support. If Keith gets Thresh, I think Afro has answers to it, since I think of Thresh as an Afromoo champion. That's kind of why I picked up Thresh. But
so that's why I've lost my games. It's Afromoo's fault.
It's Afromoo's fault. It always is. No, I mean, I think also Golden Glue's been playing extremely poorly. And what's his name? I keep having to click back because I can't believe. And Froggen has been playing super well, so I think that Froggen is going to absolutely abuse Golden Glue.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, in that game where Golden Glue played Zoe,
I think killed it.
I think, yeah, definitely. But you could probably count on both hands how many trouble bubbles he hit. Maybe on one hand. Like, it was bad. It was really bad.
He got caught out a lot too.
Hey man, Golden Glue was actually fine in the TSM game. Like, he was actually part of our big reason why Golden Guardians were able to actually come back and get a lead.
That is.
I mean, Golden Guardians beat Liquid in a 4v5, so.
Yeah. Hey man, Golden Glue was right there with Haunter in that final push to win the game. You know who died? Everyone else, including superstar support Keith McBree. He was the first to go.
MVP Keith McBree.
I know.
Who do you have in this game? Right. You gotta pick this up.
Yeah, I have Dignitas in this game. Right. Similar reason. I actually think one big deal with the top side, I think that Golden Guardians are still trying to figure out how they want to play the game. And I think the way they've had, where they're trying to give Haunter a whole bunch of room topside, is not the way they need to play the game. Because he has been dropping the ball so much.
Yes.
And I think that if there's any team that's going to be ready to play topside to counter you, it's going to be Dignitas with Someday. Or not Someday, but Huni. Yeah. I looked at the old game when Dignitas was playing.
Yep. All right, moving on to the next game. Our favorite game, CLG versus Team Liquid. I feel bad giving Team Liquid all these wins against CLG. I feel like we're not buying into the hype here, and then that's gonna be the downfall.
That's perfect. No, please keep doing this.
Yeah, we all across the board have Team Liquid here. I think this one is inexcusable. Like the Immortals one is my last straw. Like that.
Oh man.
I guess it is the last straw. Like, as in like. You get one more, I guess, But that's it. Like after this point, after the Mortal game, you need to win like every game for pretty much. You need to beat CLG. You need to beat Evil Geniuses. You need to beat Dignitas. You need to beat TSM. Depends on that one. Or 100 Thieves. Then CLG again. Immortals. Like they can only have like 1-2 more losses after that Immortal game for the rest of the year, in my opinion.
Here's the thing. Think about what Team Liquid looks like if they lose both games this weekend.
Oh yeah, 2-6, and
2-6.
You might legitimately have to look at possibly missing playoffs.
Going into the second half of the split. That's nuts.
That's nuts
for Team Liquid.
I would not believe in that.
I feel like even an anemic TL. I think even TL last week. I think that Team Liquid might even lose to CLG, but knowing CLG, they probably still stumble, trip over themselves, and kill themselves, and then Team Liquid wins by default. So, but I think, like I said, same thing with the Immortals game. If I'm giving Team Liquid the benefit of the doubt with Immortals and with Broxah coming in to spice up the roster and make everyone feel better, I think that they could definitely handle CLG after another day.
Gotcha. That's how I feel. All right, moving on. TSM versus FlyQuest. I gotta go TSM. I thought they could almost possibly beat C9. I love FlyQuest a lot, but I gotta go with TSM here.
William, do we have any different picks?
I don't. I think we do. We do.
I think we do on Monday. I'm looking at my picks right now.
Oh man, y'all picked Evil Geniuses. I hate you.
Spoiler.
Oh my god.
The coin flipped on heads.
I know. That dude, you joke.
Yeah,
you joke.
It could. Ryan, you also have TSM?
I have TSM. I actually feel like this is probably going to be a TSM game that's almost exactly like the Dignitas game.
Where it's close and then they're going to win.
Yeah, well, not even so much that it's close. I feel like it's going to be one of those things where TSM is literally just going to pick themselves into a good draft and then be able to have push priority in every lane and then just kind of run the tempo, and that's just been FlyQuest's kryptonite the whole split.
That is true.
I didn't mention this when I was doing the power rankings. I have FlyQuest. Their point total was 0.
Just a flat 0.
Like literally, they got the crush win against Dignitas. They had 2 kind of whatever decent wins against CLG and Immortals, but then their 3 losses. One was C9, which I didn't count, and then they had 2 smashes by Evil Geniuses and Team Liquid, which were very similar.
Yeah.
It's literally like they just kind of got crushed in the early game, mostly through bot side, and then they could just never really recover because by the time they were trying to make moves, they were just too far behind. And I feel like TSM is going to run the same style. That's how they've been running against Dignitas, and I feel like FlyQuest just doesn't seem like they have the resilience to come back against that kind of early pressure.
Okay. Yeah, I can absolutely see that happen. That's why I've also picked TSM. I think FlyQuest runs a very aggressive style of you die trying. Basically, you're gonna succeed or die trying, and we've seen the negative aspects of that with them getting blown out because of that.
Yeah. I think you had to attack bot side though. You had to attack Ignar.
Yep.
Evil Geniuses has the blueprint. Literally just keep ganking them so Ignar can't do anything.
Yep, I agree.
And then if he can't do anything, you could trust Broken Blade to handle Kumo. You could trust Bjergsen to handle Power of Evil. If you could get those off and just smash it, and then you're enabling Kabe and Biofrost to make moves,
you're good.
And keeping Ignar down, I think FlyQuest have no chance.
Gotcha. All right, our next game of Immortals Evil Geniuses. This is where I finally believe in Immortals.
Did I say freaking Kumo? God damn it! I keep thinking of Evil Geniuses.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean Viper. But
yeah.
Yes, I feel like Kumo was actually doing a better than Viper right now. So I feel like having Viper is actually an easier matchup for Broken Blade.
Yeah, I have Immortals against Evil Geniuses. This is the final game, especially because I think they can beat. I don't know. I'm just gonna pick tails for Evil Geniuses from now on and hope maybe it'll land on heads every now and then. But I don't see it happening too often anymore. I'm very depressed with this lineup. I think Sven's played very bad so far this split. Brian, what do you got?
Is this FlyQuest Evil Genius?
Nope,
you said?
this is Immortals.
Immortals Evil Genius.
Immortals Evil Genius.
The other green team.
The other green team.
Teal.
I have Immortals.
I do as well. Nice. We're 8 for 8 so far.
Yeah, I think our next game is the different.
Yeah. It is. And then Ryan, you also have Immortals.
I do have Immortals. I feel like they're actually stable. I feel like it's one of those
Yeah.
things where if we get to these late games where like evil geniuses seem to falter, those are the late games where Immortals seem to pull wins out of their
Yeah,
asses.
it's a perfect scenario for Immortals in that
Yeah,
sense.
I mean it's possible that evil geniuses just hard giga smash them, but I mean if there's any jungler that can maintain Svenskeren and punish him, it's Smithy.
Yep, absolutely true. All right, Monday night games: FlyQuest versus 100 Thieves. This
100
is the
Thieves.
one. I finally have a difference with Brian. I have FlyQuest. I believe that their aggressive style will be able to take down 100 Thieves because I think Meteos is obviously a much more passive jungler, and I always like seeing aggressive junglers like feast on passive junglers for the most part. Kind of like what happened with Greg this week against Blabber and Dardoch. So I think that I'm glad that Santorin has played a lot more aggressive this year compared to the summer split and last split.
I mean Santorin friggin' 3-buffed Blabber
Yeah.
in the game against C9. It just didn't matter.
What do you got, Ryan?
It's gonna be top and bot difference. Sorry.
Top and bot different?
I actually am going with FlyQuest here for similar reasons. I feel like this game, it's weird because it's like this game, the Immortals Evil Geniuses game, and the next game, I'm just gonna say all the games. All the games are hard, except for maybe like CLG versus Team Liquid, are actually kind of hard to call. I mean, I haven't exactly had the best track record of calling them, especially Evil Geniuses games. Because, well, I don't know. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But FlyQuest versus 100 Thieves, I feel like, well, I'm just going by history. FlyQuest, it seems like they always have, ever since they stopped being undefeated, they have like one game where they kind of get beat real bad. But then the next one they bounce back and they win really bad, win really good. That's why they have like 0 points.
Yeah,
because they've actually had all their wins have been pretty decent, and since we're not counting C9 games, for losses, their two losses have also been bad.
Yeah,
so they have 0. They're literally 6th place with a 0 point. They're literally the benchmark for everyone else.
Yep, they are what Shulko was supposed to be.
Yeah, yep. And while I did end up having 100 Thieves above them, I think 100 Thieves, aside from like the one TL game, have just had really not good wins. Their wins have just been whatever.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, like they beat CLG and Golden Guardians. Aside from Team Liquid, those are the wins they have.
Yeah.
So I feel like FlyQuest not as coin flippy as a team. I feel like they will bounce back, but it's possible they just keep sliding though. That they just got tilted off the face of the planet.
All right. Final game: Cloud9 versus Evil Geniuses. This one is not even a heads.
All right, guys, we'll see y'all next week.
Not even a heads gives me.
No, don't do this to me.
No, come on.
No,
I know what
watch
you picked.
it.
I know what you picked.
I know. I picked Cloud9.
Yep.
But I've never picked Evil Genius games right.
Yeah, you haven't.
I seriously think I've never picked an Evil Genius game correctly.
That's hilarious.
Because it's like I literally picked oh man, surely they beat CLG. No.
Yeah, you picked them to beat.
This is their loss, though. That will be hilarious.
It's like, oh hey, I say, I think they might be able to beat TSM. No. Freaking TSM beats them, and then say,
you have picked them wrong every single time.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I've literally picked them wrong every single time. And this is Cloud9's first Monday night game. And my Monday nights have been terrible.
That is true. That is very true. You won your first
You guys are free to flip your picks because I'm going to stick to C9.
No.
But oh my god.
They get you back, but you're making this difficult for them.
But I mean, this is going to be it's the perfect storm. It's a new patch. It's Svenskeren. It's the freaking C9 Academy, Zazel, Svenskeren, Kumo redemption story against Cloud9.
Maybe
it's gonna be the ultimate trap game, which is what got me on this podcast, is predicting random trap games for C9.
Yeah.
On the Monday night game where my record sucks against Evil Geniuses, who I never call right.
You're convincing me a lot here.
I know.
I can't do it because I'm like, no, but like
there's literally no hard evidence.
I'm scared now. This was a free win. Now you've scared me.
There's no hard evidence to say that Cloud9 should not win this game.
There's
also a lot of circumstantial evidence to say
Evil genius.
that they will definitely lose this game.
Now I'm sad. With that though, we will go quickly to our player to watch. My eyes on the week is Broxah. Let's see how he does this year.
Will we see him?
Will we
there
see
he
him?
is.
There he is. So
Mine was Schernfire. What do you mean?
Oh, weird.
I'm still wondering where Jackie Love is.
Yeah. We'll never know.
Like, seriously, what happened to him? I just haven't even heard about him.
I haven't heard any news about him outside of
R.I.P. China being the best. Like,
oh, man,
I know. They lost their #1 player at Worlds.
Shut up. All right. Well, that will be the podcast today. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it. We had a lot of intense discussion. I did really like the topics version.
My player to watch is Keith.
over match history. I thought it was more fun, more interactive.
Man, what champion will he play?
Gotcha. Okay, go
What's Aphelios' band?
All right. With that, we'll wrap up. We'll talk tomorrow about EU. Thank you guys for coming to watch. Thank you, Idol, for interacting in the chat. And we will see you tomorrow for EU. Good night.
Bye.